Netherlands, and maybe after that, they are likely to go even further and possibly even bring the cup home. So please, Ghanaians, we beg you, let's all believe in them, okay? I can't one last match, ABI could turn things around for us, so let's all support them and see what happens. Welcome back, and it's time for us to get into Infocus segment. Put our lenses on something quite important. We're in the digital area where everything else is digital, thanks to our Vice President. We're digitalizing almost everything else in Ghana. So we need to talk about computer security, its ethics and safety. And to help us do that, I have the communication officer from IIPGH, Institute of Professional Ghana. They are here to support us and help us digress the whole conversation. Alex Ansa is the communication officer with our community. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
By grace and well. Good to have you.
Thank you so much.
All right, so per the topic, we have a three-pronged areas to talk at, look at, sorry. Sure. So we are talking about computer security, you have the ethics and safety. So when you say computer security, ethics and safety, what exactly do we mean?
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity, and then I am privileged to be here.
Sure.
Okay, so computer security, basically, when we talk about security, we are talking about the measures, the mechanisms, and the systems we put in place to safeguard our ICTs. So I'm talking about your mobile phones, your computers, it's an organization, the servers and all that. Okay, so that's basically computer security. Ethics, so accepted standards or morals that we have all come to accept that would govern what is right or wrong.
Do's and don'ts, pros and cons.
Exactly. So as we go ahead, I'll go into more details. Safety. Okay, safety in this context, we want to talk about use safety. So when you're using your ICTs, what are some things you have to do to safeguard you, the human being? Okay. There are a lot of technicalities, human-computer interaction, economics. We go into it as we go ahead.
In my reading too, I discovered that it has to do not just about the software, but the hardware part also.
Exactly. So
that it goes both ways.
Exactly. Okay. So basically, security talks about both the hardware and the software. It's very, very essential. You see, in our local panel, if someone wants to do you in a spiritual way, you cannot. You can't physical. So yes. So you talk about the software aspect and then also the hardware. Let me quickly add that when we talk about IT security, it is very difficult to have total security. Okay. One of the former presidents of US, Dwight Yonover, said that if you want total security, you have to go to prison. There you'll be fed, you'll be taken care of, and be given food. Okay, the goal is to reduce the vulnerabilities as low as possible. Yes, you cannot have total security anywhere in the world. We all saw recently Twitter and then Instagram got hacked. Yes, they had all the systems in place. So the goal is to reduce the vulnerability as low as possible, and then also have system in place such that if you are hacked or you go down, how quickly can we come up in a record time? So that's the goal.
Right. So how can security be compromised? How can it be compromised?
Good. So computers or IT can be compromised basically through weaknesses. Okay. Weaknesses, yes. So what we call in IT.
So the enemy always look out for your weaknesses.
Exactly. What we call vulnerabilities. Okay. Even the Bible said that nobody can come to another person's house to defeat unless you hijack the person by themselves. So anybody who is trying to attack you or do you harm in terms of ICT is looking for the weaknesses that exist in your system. Okay. It is through these weaknesses that somebody can access a data he or she is not supposed to and then cause havoc.
Okay, so now it comes to some of these weaknesses then.
Exactly, it comes through different ways. One of the common ones we are all used to is free Wi-Fi. When you are working anywhere and then you see a free Wi-Fi quickly, we hop onto it and then we start using it to do our stuff. It is very, very
cool though. I'm not sure the owners of those restaurants or hotels or something that you go intentionally intend to use give you the free Wi-Fi and attempt to also steal something from you.
Exactly. So it's both ways. Okay, there are organizations that intentionally offer you free Wi-Fi so that they can get data from you.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
It happens a lot, mostly around the airport when you're traveling and you want to pick a flight.
You're in our airport here?
Yes. Well, I cannot speak.
Okay.
I cannot speak.
Exactly. That's okay.
But yes, there are people who make Wi-Fi available so they can get data from you, and there are people who do it unintentionally. So probably they've given the credentials to their staff, and then in terms it leaks to other people. Even that can be a risk to the organization because somebody can perpetrate a fraud on their network, and then they'll be hijacked for it. So it can happen.
So then in that case, they don't intentionally do that, but somebody else would want to do that.
Exactly.
So would it be maybe a customer or somebody?
Anybody at all. And there are measures you can put in place to solve that. Okay, there are captive portals you can put in place. So in addition to the password to the Wi-Fi, you can have other mechanisms to make sure that only people who are permitted to be on the network can be on it. Okay. There are other ways to that make our weaknesses high. So something like spoofing. Okay, so somebody who is IT savvy can spoof a network. So he's not supposed to be on HSTV's network, but he can be anywhere in the world and then pretend to be on your network and then be able to access privileged information here.
So let's educate a little bit. Spoofing basically means that not being here, but you find ways that means to be here.
So it's sort of masquerading. So pretending to be something you are not. Essentially, if there's a network, which I assume there is, if you hop onto it, there are certain things that will recognize you as part of it. In IT, we call it IP address. So it's what recognize you on the network. Somebody can be anywhere else and spoof his IP to pretend as if it's on your network, but it's not here. Then he can do what he's not supposed to do. They are eavesdropping. People can be hanging around and be picking information one or two here about, and then be use that to attack you. There's phishing. Phishing too is one way that people can use to attack.
It's not the one we throw the net, right?
It can be likened to it. You see, most of the coins when it comes to security are gotten from these normal things. Really. So phishing, when you're going to fish, you put a worm on a hook, throw it into the water. The fish then sees just the worm, but in between the worm there's a hook. So yes, it's the same idea that's behind. So they send you something into your mail. Oh, my grandmother is dead, and then he left you some
huge money, so I want to share with you.
And as human as we are, we are taken by the bait, and then we are got. So these are some of the few I would like to talk about because of time. Yes,
all right. That's high. So these things culminate into your weakness.
Exactly.
So is it possible, as you mentioned earlier from the beginning, there's no way you can be 100% safe or secured on the internet. So at any given time, there's a potential for anybody out there to try and get onto you. So how can you avoid these malwares and attacks?
How can you avoid it? So essentially there are systems you can put in place to avoid it. One of them, we have if you use Gmail, you realize that when you get a spam mail, automatically try to segregate the mail.
It has a primary, it has a social, spam and all that.
So some of the softwares we use try to do them for us automatically. But going a step further, ourselves or the organizations we work with can procure or purchase some of these special softwares to help us, to segregate some of these things. There are systems you can also put in place, one of them being a firewall that you can put in place, install in your system, such that when mails are coming in, it sort of sieves whatever is coming and make sure that only the good data is allowed to come in. There are IDS, intrusion detection systems, that we can install in our organizations to make sure that we are at almost all the time protected from some of these hackers. So there are softwares you can use.
So let's shift away and focus a little bit on the ethics, for instance. So based on the ethics, you may not even fall short of it. But whatever you want to say, go ahead.
Just one more thing. CIA, there are three main legs that computer security steps on before you shift to the ethics part.
That's fine.
So anytime you're talking about security, you're talking about confidentiality, you're talking about integrity, you're talking about availability. If at any point in time one of these legs is taken off, you are lacking.
So please repeat those steps again.
Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. CIA, exactly. They actually call the CIA triad of IT security.
CIA
triad.
Tried.
Yes, it's more like a tripod.
Okay.
So confidentiality basically talks about the system and data and information being accessed by only those who are privileged to access it, or those who are authorized to access it. And then when we talk about integrity, the data that is being transported or communicated is maintained in its integrous form. Nobody is able to penetrate and then altered it. Then availability is as and when somebody wants the data, you should be able to access those data. Each of them has a particular form of attack that are tailored towards them. But I think with time we focus on the ethics.
All right. So as I said, so we dealt a bit about the security.
Yes.
Let's focus on the ethics, for instance. So I'm sure every other business is guided by some ethics, one way or the other. GJ have the ethics, Media House have the ethics. Every other business have the ethics. What are the ethics that guides computer security?
So as I said, ethics basically are things or standards that all of us have come to agree to live by. I'm sure you not go into any organization and then you see that don't spit on the floor, but I mean, naturally, generally, we all accept that it is unethical to do that. So you cannot be in a room and then just be farting around. It's unethical. Okay. So yes, in the IT world, we have some ethics that generally we have come to agree on. Okay. One of them, you cannot just go around and be spying on people. It's unethical. It's just unethical. Okay. If you're an employer and then you have employees working under you, you cannot just install security cameras everywhere, including their washrooms when they are going to ease themselves. It's so unethical. Okay. In the IT world, it happens.
You can put it anywhere else apart from the washrooms.
Yes, and the rule is that even if you put it in the surroundings, there must be notices to notify people that something like this is going on. You must notify people that they have been
But what is the whole idea of having security cameras by telling everybody else that you have security cameras?
That's a good question. But the thing is, the cameras is not really to capture the person. It's actually to prevent the crime. Understand? So if I don't know if you get me.
Yeah.
It's to prevent the crime. Exactly. So if you hide it for people to commit the crime before you can't bring the feed, you really feed the person. When the police does it to all of us, we don't like it. They hide behind the corner. Just when you cross the red line, they can't miss it.
But the flip side of it also is that when you tell them, you'll find ways and means to navigate and pass where the camera will capture them to do whatever they want to do.
There's not 100% security anyway.
Sorry?
Probably that's why there's not 100% security anyway.
True.
But that's the rule. That's the rule. I mean, internationally, you must notify people, because there are people who may not know. And a lady walks somewhere into the corner and wants to dress when then you just realize that you are watching. It's just unethical. Okay. So you just must find a fine balance between the two. Yes.
So then all the other places that we go that security cameras are there that they haven't actually notified them, they are breach of the ethics.
Exactly.
Please, if you have security cameras and you have not told anybody or the people who visit the place that there's security cameras around, you are breaching the ethics of computer security. Please change, repent. Some people do. I know most of these Chinese and Lebanese and Indians who are in Ghana intentionally put those things just to monitor our Ghanaian workers, just to get them, and you don't even tell them.
Exactly. Which is bad.
So you can sue somebody like that. Is it possible?
I'm not a lawyer, I wouldn't know. But I was reading something online that seemed to suggest that if you don't make them aware, and then something happens, and then you submit that feed in court,
so it will not be used as evidence.
Yes, it's not admissible. That's something like that. I don't know if it works in Ghana, but I'm not a lawyer.
I think we have to deal with the cybersecurity story, and maybe the law that has all those things in there. All right, cool. All right, so what will possibly be the next ethics that we can talk about?
I want us to walk through what I came about, the 10 commandments of computer ethics.
Exactly. I also chanced upon that, so
let's walk through it. I think it will educate us a bit. The first one says that you don't have to harm people using your ICTs.
You don't have to harm people using ICT. Okay.
It's just unethical.
That's the first commandment.
First commandment.
Okay.
Just as God gave us the 10 commandments. You don't intentionally use your ICTs with the sole purpose of harming people. It's not ethical.
All right, but people do that all the time.
Exactly. Probably because naturally human beings, I wish we're ethical. I think I don't know. I don't know. Naturally, it looks like naturally we are not. It's because of Adam's sin.
Everybody wants to sin.
Exactly.
But we're told that Jesus has come to cleanse our sins. So, but still, I said,
that's a conversation for another time. Okay, so the first one says I don't harm people. The second one, don't interfere in other people's work using ICTs. Okay. So that's the second commandment. When you are using your computer, don't make it your goal, your sole aim to just interfere in other people's work. There are people who do that. Okay. They gossip around the work environment, and then they even use ICTs to do it. Okay. Just as you are saying, they are. I don't want to limit it to just the foreigners, but even Ghanaians. There are some Ghanaians who do it. They install some other cameras somewhere to monitor your work. By the way, do you know that apart from the CCTV cameras, you can also use your own laptop camera to monitor you?
Oh, really?
Yes, the small camera in front of your laptop. It can be configured such that somebody can.
But that only faces you.
Yes.
It doesn't. So you mean somebody can tap in and then begin to see what you are doing?
Exactly, easily. So somebody can control it without you knowing. And if I'm your employer, I can check whether you are seated at your desk, because if you are there, the camera should be able to capture you.
That is also wrong.
That's also wrong. Okay.
So I'm thinking about this second thing. There are times where for instance, somebody you get employed, usually a new person. You don't want to give you a laptop, and then they'll give you an email address that the company uses. But you realize that at the top of the hierarchy, the IT boss or whatever it is able to see every email that you get, is able to see whatever you're doing. Why do they do that? Is that correct also? Is that right?
The thing is, one way or the other, the Gmail you use, somebody still sees your email. The emails you send, the mail you receive.
Even the Gmail?
Yes. Somebody controls that. You see, behind every
system, behind every Gmails, somebody won't have time for all that.
Exactly. Right? Probably that's what they think. Yeah. But if somebody wants to follow you, the person can do it. Okay. Yeah. I get your concern, but truth to it is that there are people that work behind the scene. They are administrators that administer the networks. Okay. With as technology advances, we are coming to a point where it becomes impossible because of encryption and things like that. Yes. But for now, somebody has to administer your network. That's the truth.
For what reason? That you don't send email to different people, you don't use the work laptop for something else?
Yes, one of them, so that you don't do unethical stuff, you don't access people. Somebody has to be able to administer what is happening.
Go to Pornhub and all that, you're watching porn with the laptop.
Exactly. Someone must be able to administer who can access what on a particular network. Okay. In a peer-to-peer environment, you have that 100% autonomy. But if you're in a client server where somebody gives you the access, then somebody we can't run away from
maybe their office ethics also overrides the computer security ethics. Anyway, that's okay. So
that's why you can have both your personal mail and then your office mail. You don't cross the line. You don't use your office mail
for unofficial duties. Okay, that's
right. I know some companies that have restrictions and policies in place that permit the IT administrator to be notified anytime somebody sends a job application out of the company. So if you send a mail and there are some keywords in it, automatically it's notified. This guy wants to leave. So this. Okay. So let's just read on.
All right. So we're going to the third one.
The third one: don't snoop around other people's files.
Files as in their laptop files.
There are files. Data on their computer, apps they are using, designs they are making. Also, if you are a staff, depending on the office you are occupying, you should be mindful. If you are an HR staff, you know that you have privileged access to information. You should be careful when people come to your office what they can do. Okay. So, but if you're an IT user, make it a goal not to be snooping around just because snooping around them sniffing around. The fourth rule says that don't use your computer to steal. Yes.
Which is very common.
Yes. Hackers around, everybody wants
that engulfs phishing,
any mechanism, running the middle attack, SQL injection, any other way you can use. Make sure that you don't deliberately use your computer to steal other people's data. The fifth one is that don't use your PC to bear false witness.
This is more biblical. The stealing is in the 10 Commandments as well. And then, how do you use your laptop to bear false witness?
How do you do that? That's a good question. I don't know if you remember, but not too long ago, we had one of the major governmental organizations. They had an IT director who worked there for over 16 years without any IT certificate.
I think I didn't hear that story. He worked over 16 years.
16 years. He was the head of IT. So actually, what he did was that documents that he didn't have, he used the IT to create those documents, fabricate them, and
then use it to apply for jobs. Exactly. But then again, he was doing well.
He was performing.
So that tells you that the certificate doesn't matter.
Really?
Yeah. Because if the certificate mattered, he wouldn't be where he got to for 16 good years.
The ethics come into play.
Well, true.
It's unethical.
It's
unethical. I'm trying to somebody.
So what is the bearing of the false witness here? I'm trying to decode that. What did he do in terms of using the
bearing false witness? Something you are not. You are pretending to be.
Okay.
So you are not the person. You are trying to pretend to be a person, or something you have not seen about somebody. Then you try to create something. Exactly. These are our celebrities, so-called celebrities, creates videos about. There was this video that was circulating about an armed robber who was attacking people on VIP buses. It was a video, I've forgotten, something paradise. Eventually, it came out that he was wrong. There was just two friends playing around, and then they created such things to sort of chastise each other, and then it spread like wildfire.
Okay.
All those are not. We don't use the IT to do something like that.
Okay.
Then the second one says that don't use apps you've not paid for. Softwares, applications, systems.
But that one there. No. There. But even Facebook is free.
Yeah, yes,
you
but
don't pay for it.
No. So when you say you've not paid for, it means that those you have to pay for. Facebook has general one.
There's a term that the IT guys use for what do you call it? When it comes to maybe firewall, getting a firewall or anything just to antivirus.
Yes.
There's a term they use.
Yes.
They will hack it or something like that. They give it to you so that you
they'll crack it.
Okay, so that you can use it for a period without necessarily having to pay for it.
And it's wrong. Okay, I'll explain. One, it actually spans from the security aspect. Most of these viruses too are created. They don't just happen by accident or by chance. Somebody sits down to create it, okay, which is wrong on ethical in the first place. But the rule says that don't use somebody's intellectual property for free, okay? Somebody must sit down to really crack or find a solution to a problem. And it's just nice that you make the person benefit from it.
But I'm paying for internet.
I'm not paying for the software.
The internet, because I'm using the app, the person is getting mileage for that.
Defending this. I suspect it. But see, the other side of the coin is that most of these free apps opens our eyes up for attack.
Yeah, true.
It really opens up for a lot of attacks. Okay,
but some of them also offers free usage for a period.
Yes.
Say 30-day usage or something like that. But even that, when you're filling, they'll be asking for money. Yes. But when you're done with the 30 days, so we're supposed to even put in your Visa card or MasterCard, whatever it is, before they even start accessing the free period. So that they will know that right at the end, they start deducting your money from it. But at the end, when I decide to block it, I don't need to pay for it.
What are people
maybe 30 days maybe.
What are people do locally is that after the 30 days, they uninstall it and then
they install it again. Or somebody, I think Netflix started with something like that. You're doing something like that, you can have free access to it. After a while, they start paying for it, and people, the moment they finish the free days, they just take it out.
I just wish you knew the toil, the midnight time, the cost that goes into developing software is very high, and so I know it's difficult. It's not just you, it's not just individuals. I can say confidently that there are governmental organizations in Ghana that don't purchase software; they don't use genuine software, okay, and it's bad.
Yeah, I remember in the past days I used to sell antivirus, and they don't want to buy it.
Yes.
Okay, so there's one for tablets, there's one for PCs or laptops, and then the industrial usage. So where they have the servers, big servers that when you go there they don't want to buy because they said, oh, your IT guy be how I downloaded their mind.
You crack it. Okay, it's bad. It's bad, and we must. I heard some time ago Microsoft came to Ghana to do some audit on people who are pirating their software. They just give it. They couldn't play it more than 80%.
I'm going to go to Nigeria at the end.
Okay, so
anyways,
the seventh one. So the sixth one says don't use apps you've not paid for. The seventh one says that don't use people's ICTs without approval.
Don't use people's ICTs without approval.
Yes.
So don't what could that be apart from the apps?
So don't walk into somebody's PC and they just start using it without the person's approval.
Okay.
The person could work on something privileged. Okay. I don't know if you're aware, but do you know that if someone shows you an image on his or her phone, it's even unethical to swipe to the next image. It's not right. So when you use, it shows you, okay, see this very nice picture on my phone. If you say it, most times people say, oh, let me see the next picture, and they just swipe without the person's approval. I have somebody who does it a lot to the producer. It's unethical. Okay, so anytime you want to use somebody's ICT, somebody's phone, somebody's computer, somebody's laptop, somebody's iPad, it's just nice to seek
request for permission before you do that. Into more oh, my main phone in your call. Record now, gallery. You have not been asked to go to gallery. You just pick the phone that you want to make a call with them. Finish with the call, hand over the phone. Exactly. Why do you want to go to gallery? What are you looking for? And then you go to messages, WhatsApp messages, and you want to look for deleted messages and all those things. And we here, especially the wives and the husbands who do that. Yesterday, funny enough, I chanced upon a story. I belong to Teledad's page on Facebook, and somebody has posted a message there, and he's claiming this is the third time he's posting that. What is he asking for? That a friend of his believes that his wife is cheating, so he wants something that they can detect what the wife is doing, so they can. Is it Chrome or something?
Yes.
The wife's phone, so that he can see. And nobody's minding. For the third time he posted that thing on the platform, nobody's minding. The way all is, I went through the thread of the message comment. Everybody was insulting him. Why don't you pay attention to yourself and whatever? Why do you want to help somebody? If the guy wants to divorce, he should find ways and means to divorce. He doesn't need his phone, his wife's phone to be cloned or something. So then, couples who go about trying to clone somebody's phone just to monitor to see. It's unnecessary. It's even unethical.
Unethical, yes. I'm talking from a purely technical background. It's unethical. In the space of marriage, it's a different ballgame altogether.
In the space of
marriage,
it's a different ballgame altogether. Okay.
Bible says that the two shall become one, but I'm not going. I'm talking as an IT.
And don't put there. I'm sure you're here to get into that space, but I'll tell you about it off air. I'm not the only here. Let's move on.
All right, then, so we should make sure that anytime you want to use somebody's ICTs, and it's general, anything, phones, anything, we should seek approval. We should also consider the consequences of the apps we use and the apps we create. Okay, the apps we use, the apps we create. Most of the vulnerabilities that come, usually organization level, can come from developers they're giving contracts to develop a software for them, and some will intentionally develop a software and leave some bugs somewhere through which it can come. Okay, there was a story about this bank manager who realized that when people do bank transactions, they don't really pay attention to the coins at the SS. They just focus on the main money. So he wrote a small app that was transferring 10 pesos, 20 pesos into his account, and at the end of the day, he accumulated a lot of money. Okay. So those are also not bad. Sorry, they are very bad. Okay. So when you're using apps or creating apps, look out for the consequences that will accrue out of your.
But the client may not know what the developer has done.
Yes. So you are talking to a general public. The person developing the software, telling him it should be ethical.
Okay.
Right. And you, the client, must also put in mechanisms. You don't just give a contract out and allow it to be. You must
Sometimes
have people,
you're not tech savvy, so you
get somebody. Get somebody
to
audit the software.
Okay. So we have computer auditors.
Yeah. It's a major thing, auditing, and then we have
it's part of the digital skills that people can venture into.
People who ensure the quality assurance of apps. So when you give an app out to develop, somebody can just check and see if it is meeting the.
Because there's been countless times this Ponzi scheme thing that comes. People want to find out the credibility of it, so they will go to people who can check and see whether it's credible, the backgrounds and registration and all those things.
Exactly.
Okay. That's a very viable.
So get somebody who has a technical know-how to audit it and make sure that it is performing. There are certain systems that somebody can develop for you. It is working as it's supposed to work, but the way it's developed make it cumbersome. It makes it run slow. Okay. Just when I was coming in the lobby, I was on Facebook and I saw my lecturer from uni was complaining about one of the bank's app. Apparently, when you log into the app, it doesn't ask for any authentication. It was just complaining on Facebook. Okay? I don't know how they did it, but when you give a contract out, make sure you have somebody who also cross-checks whatever is being done, and then ensures that the codes that are being written are doing exactly what they say they are doing.
Okay.
Then the next one says that use PC in ways that show respect to others and their privacy.
Please read that part again.
Use ICTs, let me use in general, ICTs in ways that show respect to other people and their privacy. Everybody is entitled to privacy when they are using ICTs.
Okay.
Everybody.
Okay.
When I'm on my phone, I should have a privacy on my phone. Okay. So use PCs that ensures people are able to have those privacies on their phone. Yes.
Okay. So that's where we have cubicles in the offices, so that you don't get to look at other people's jobs or whatever they are doing on their laptops and all.
That is.
Awesome.
And so employers must also make sure that people have those cubicles, their security and their privacy is ensured when they are working.
But they don't care about your security. They'll be watching from afar what you're doing on your laptop.
Not everybody does that.
Well, most of the international companies I've ever worked with, they always have that particular email address that you can. It's difficult to even access sometimes, but that's what they do intentionally, so that when you send in a particular email, they can easily tell you that this is the email you sent and all those things.
Exactly. It's wrong, but I'm sure when you talk to them, they also tell you why they do it. They tell you usually for productivity. I mean, you can also not run away from the fact that people, when they're employed, some of them can laze around. People don't do what they are employed to do. They like to come to work, waste the employer's time. So yes, they are good and bad side of every it's like that.
Okay, so I think we've exhausted much of the ethics by the 10 commandments we've given. Now let's talk real detail about the security. I will mention a few, but let's talk about the security. How does one take care of his security in its entirety, though we can have 100% security at any given time?
Okay, so let me talk about some measures we can put in place to reduce our vulnerabilities when we are online. Some of the I cannot exhaust all of them, but let me just touch on a few. Okay, some measures that can reduce the vulnerability, because as your vulnerability comes down, then you are mostly assured of a high security.
Okay.
The lower the vulnerability, the higher the security.
Okay.
For example.
All right.
So first, use genuine softwares. As I've said, if you use genuine softwares, most times you are assured of what you are using. Okay. The good
especially
side,
the paid ones.
The paid ones, yes, that's what I mean. Genuine paid softwares. The good side
Can
of
that also mean that the bigger ones that we are not paying for, we are liabilities?
Oh, they are.
So, for instance, Twitter, Meta in general. So, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp. All this we're not paying for it. It's just the data that we use.
Okay. So there are different types of softwares. Okay. There are sharewares, there are freewares, and other softwares. There are people who develop softwares and they say because of the good of the public, they are making it free. Okay, just as lawyers go to school, go to court, adjudicate case and charge, they will do pro bono. Exactly.
Yes.
The same way. So there are people who do pro bono softwares.
So those ones that Meta as a pro bono.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. One thing I've realized, personally, with my experience in IT, is that almost all the softwares we are to pay for, they are almost always a free version of it we can get. Just that we don't like learning, so we don't like to get them. I'm telling you.
Really?
Seriously.
So VLC, sorry, for instance.
Yes. VLC is free.
It's free.
Yes. So that
paid version.
But I'm talking about something like a Microsoft Office. We all use it.
Yeah.
Microsoft Office is you have to buy it. There are other applications you can use that can do, if not more, the same as Microsoft
does. So you can get Excel, the PowerPoints, the Word, everything.
All of them. There's LibreOffice, there's OpenOffice, there's countless of them. Free, you can download and get them. Okay. But what I'm saying for the measure is that if you want to use a particular software, they are selling probably in organization level or security level, antivirus. You want to use it, then get a genuine one.
Okay.
The good thing is that if something happens, you know you've bought it, so you can go to wherever you bought it from and then hold them to their parts of the bargain. Okay, so use genuine softwares. And then if you're using systems where you are allowed to implement multi-factor authentication, use it.
Okay.
Multi-factor
authentication. You go there, check whether the box comes, identify the bicycle or the traffic lights. Exactly. You have to go through all those processes.
Exactly. There are some, after you've entered your password, they'll send you a code onto your phone. For a very long time, we had issue with Momo until they started implementing some of this multi-factor authentication. Okay, so if you have any system, your Gmail, your Facebook, that uses this multi-factor, not just two-factor, any multi-factor authentication, utilize it. It enhances your security. Okay. Then again, the CCTV cameras we've spoken about. We've spoken about it in a bad light, but again, we can also utilize it in a positive sense. Okay. So purely from an IT background, if I have a system that is very critical to me, I can point a CCTV camera to it and then I can access it anytime. Okay, I can configure the camera to detect motion. Anytime somebody passes through, it alerts me. Okay, just so that I'm able to monitor my mission critical systems. Okay. You can also there's nothing as important as staff. Okay, so one of the measures I can also is to regularly train your people. It's very important. Don't take it for granted at all. So the staff that are working on your staff, make sure that every time you are getting them up to rest with the
that's the duty of the IT professional there, to always train and retrain.
Exactly. Sometimes the challenge they have is finance, because some of these come with a little cost. Management will not be willing to pay for it and things like that. It is you are lucky if you're an IT person and your management supports you 100%. Yes, anything you submit, they fund it.
They always tell you to get the cheap one.
It's true. Almost everywhere I've worked with, most HR and management see IT as a liability. They're always coming for money. Usually they're coming for money. You want to buy something, you want to buy this, you want to buy computers. Okay, so it's a good thing if you have management that understands IT and they support you. Okay, and as we've also said over time, we are not aiming at 100% safety. we are aiming at reducing the risks. Okay, and then when disaster strikes, how quickly can we come back online? Okay, so one measure we can also do is to have backups. Okay, usually what we call offsite backups.
Offsite.
Yes. Okay. So in the organization, I mean, intermittent. I know the banks do it a lot. Depending on how critical your system is, either daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, you can have backups and then keep them. Okay, so it helps when disaster strikes. You can quickly resort to those backups. I
can imagine the size of the hard drives they have, in terabytes.
Yes.
Because you need to be backing up and keeping
huge
all those
big 2 bytes, and then the higher the bytes.
Yeah.
Okay. Most of them have even exhausted physical drives. They are now going to the cloud and use them. Okay.
But
the good thing is that most of these organizations.
Is the cloud 100% safe?
That's a discussion for a different time. 100% safe, as we said, you cannot get anywhere unless you are in the prisons. There you have somebody. Yes, there are different kinds of clouds. So depending on which one you are subscribing to, and then the rigs are.
Now the clouds I get even on my phone asking me to back up, even asking me to pay for it.
Yes.
You pay for 10 cities, 5 cities for a certain size.
Yes. Even Gmail pays for it. Gmail, when you exhaust your time, they ask you to now pay for SS storage.
I see.
I've come to realize they intentionally do it. They fish you out. Once you taste it and realize it's nice, then they start
charging more.
Because you can have offsite backups. It's very, very beneficial. One of the worst form of attack you can experience in IT is the ransomware, where somebody hijacks your system and then comes to tell you that until you pay me a ransom, everything on the system goes blank. Your documents, everything is off. Okay. In such crucial instances, you can resort to your backups and then come back in record time. Right. And then encryption, you can encrypt your data when you're transmitting. Even WhatsApp now has encrypted data from end to end. So when you're sending WhatsApp, it didn't used to be like that. Now they've
developed there's a new thing that they put out that you can even leave a WhatsApp group without necessarily having to announce yourself that you're leaving.
Exactly.
There was some few things that they posted just recently, I think last week or so, this week.
Okay.
Yeah, some just 3-pronged things that you can do on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Somebody just puts you on a group that you feel like you're uncomfortable being there. You can leave without necessarily. You usually see that thing. Kojo just left.
Yes.
You won't see that thing in there.
Okay, that's nice. So as technology improves, we tend to. So these are some of the few measures you can put in place to reduce. The last one I'd like to add is insurance.
Insurance.
Yes, you can buy insurance for your IT devices. You can buy insurance for your building.
Where do you buy the insurance?
Go to the insurance companies. They'll come and evaluate your system.
Okay, the insurance company, they also do that
exactly.
as well. I see.
Exactly. There's an insurance company that's now selling insurance for pets, your dogs and your.
Really?
Yes. There you go.
Anyway, forget about the dogs. on the IT bit. So what am I insuring? Am I insuring like my whole system?
Yes.
Okay,
so
like a server or something.
Invest hugely into your IT system. You go and tell them, this is a system I've invested in. I want you to come and access it and show me. If something happens to it, then you pay me this amount of money so that I can develop it back. Because IT systems can be quite expensive.
Quite expensive. True.
So those are some of the let me say the soft things you can put in place to.
Awesome. Unfortunately, I don't have much time, but I would like us to just do a quick wrap on all the conversations. Remember, on the beginning, I asked about the soft securing both the soft and then the hard part. So if you can put it together in explanation for me, and then we'll talk on IIPGH.
Good. So most of the measures I've put in place, I think I can categorize fairly under the soft. So let me touch on the hard physical stuff a little bit, then we can wrap it up. So there are measures you can also put in place. I mean, physical measures you can also put in place to safeguard your system.
Okay.
One we are all common with is access controls. So most times when there's a room that we don't want everybody to access, we can put a biometric or an access control at the gate that permits somebody
to use your thumbprints or something like that before.
Some a password, some a card, some biometric. It's improved over the years. Okay. So it used to be something you can remember, password. Then it used to be something you can carry, a card or something. Now it's something you have.
Yeah.
Because exactly your fingerprint. Some even use your iris to authenticate. So there are some of these systems you can put in place. Okay, and then for your laptops, your desktops, your devices, there are locks. Okay, one common one is a Kingston lock that you can buy to I don't know if you've seen. There's a metal lock you can put into your computer to make sure that nobody can move it.
Open it.
Exactly. Or nobody can
it's called Kingston lock.
Yes.
I see.
Kingston locks. Yeah. If it's this table you are using in your office, you can wind the machine around the table so that somebody can just pick the laptop and put it. It has to come with all the table. Exactly. So these are system physical things you can also use. You can install tracking devices on your servers and things so that when somebody or alarms, so when somebody enters, you get an alarm, or you can monitor where the machine is going, tracking devices and things like that. And then lastly, I'll touch on there are also systems you can install such that if somebody even gets the system and you're unable to recover it, you can remotely wipe off everything on the system. Okay, we send it on our phones. Okay.
I see.
Sometimes we are so concerned, not necessarily because of the cost of purchasing the system, but the data the person is still
true.
Remotely, if you're not able to, you do all the means and you're not able to recover it, then you can quickly wipe away whatever is on it.
All right, so that's cool. So what's up with what's new with IIPGH?
IIPGH is doing well. We celebrated our anniversary not too long ago, and I'll admonish all ICT professionals in the country to join. Gradually but surely, we are making impact. We are helping train people when it comes to ICT. We are mobilizing people. We are creating networks, and then we are offering job opportunities. Recently, we collaborated with Alibaba here in Ghana for a program. So
that's nice.
I'll admonish all ICT professionals to come on board. Let's form a synergy and then push the ICT in Ghana.
Awesome. Does it include taking a hike to Afajato? Because I saw the executive director and his family. They didn't invite me. They took a nice trip to Afajato, climbed the hills, and he started posting pictures on Facebook for us to enjoy. While you went to enjoy. Mr. David, good morning to you and your team, Kafui and everybody else in there. Thank you very much, Alex Sansam. He is the communication officer with Institute of ICT Professionals Ghana, IIPGH. He joined us for the conversation on computer security, ethics, and safety. And I hope you've learned something amazing today. If nothing at all, I heard about Kingston Lock. So you better look for it just in case you want to safeguard your laptops and PCs anywhere else that you may find yourself. So once again, thank you.
Can I give my number? I'll just
sure.
So if you want to contact the IIPGH, you can contact them on 0244 357 006. 0244 357 006. Then if you want to contact me myself, 024 1148424. 024 1148424.
Okay. You can talk. I'm sure you're on all social media handles as well. Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll take a quick break at this moment, and when we come back, it will be time for Stay Alive with my co-host Stephanie Ejo. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
My name is Dr. Andrew Akutu. I'm the Managing Director of Lashibi Funeral Homes. Lashibi Funeral Homes was established to provide modern, state-of-the-art and comprehensive funeral services. If a family lost a loved one, everything became a do-it-yourself affair. But Lashibi Funeral Homes was established so that everything that has to do with the funeral, from the time a person dies until they are buried, can all be done and made available in one place. And at all times, to emphasize the importance of treating the body of the deceased with the utmost respect and dignity. Lashibi Funeral Homes provides any and all services that have to do with funerals. Lashibi Funeral Homes will recover the body from wherever the death occurred, embalm the body using the most modern techniques. We will keep the body or store the body in our state-of-the-art refrigeration system for as long as the family desires. Nearer the time of the funeral, we will prepare and dress the body up for the funeral. We provide transportation, namely ambulances and hearses to convey the body from one place to the other as the family may wish. We also provide on our premises the services of an interdenominational chapel where the services can be conducted. We also have the only modern crematory in Ghana at the moment, which services not only Ghana but also Côte d'Ivoire. We also have a cemetery, one of the only 2 privately managed cemeteries in Accra at the moment. All it takes, literally, is one telephone call and perhaps 2 visits to our premises for everything to do with the funeral to be arranged for. There are several funeral plans on the market. Most of them are based on the premise that when the insured person passes away, the insurance company will pay an agreed sum of money to the bereaved family. Often enough, the sum paid to the family may not be sufficient to cover the basic needs the family requires. That is where the Prudential Dignity Plan comes into its own and is significantly different, because what the Prudential Dignity Plan ensures are the services that will be required, so that it does not matter whether 5 years or 10 years after the insurance was taken, those services will be provided regardless of the fact that the costs may have gone up. Once you are insured, your services are covered. It doesn't matter how long before the death occurs.
Dignity Farewell Plan from Prudential Life Insurance, in partnership with Lashibe Funeral Homes, is providing families with over a decade of experience and peace of mind when it comes to saying goodbye to your loved ones. To find out more or to sign up to the Dignity Farewell Plan, contact us today.
Yeah, so much welcome back from that break. This is Stay Alive, the last segment for today. My name is Stephanie Echochina Manyana, and next to me, I have a naturopath. She's here to help us understand naturopathic medicine and our healthcare system. And as you know, in recent times, naturopathy has become an alternative under our healthcare system, and a lot of health experts are actually administering healthcare to health beneficiaries in the naturopathic way. So we're going to understand the naturopathic medicine in our healthcare system. And you're free to join us by sending your WhatsApp messages, and you have the numbers at the left hand side of your screen. So next to me is a naturopath. She is Doris Ananote. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Stephanie? Doing very great.
You're welcome. And I'm just curious, I want to know, how long have you been doing this? I like this style.
Well, I've been working as a naturopath.
Okay.
On my own, doing consultations for individuals for about 3 years now. And I am currently in school also studying to become a full naturopathic doctor.
Oh, okay.
So there are differences between a naturopath and a naturopathic doctor.
What's the difference?
The difference is that for a naturopath, you are usually trained shortly for 2 years. In clinical medicine and natural healing therapies. But for you to become a naturopathic doctor, then you would have to study for 4 years and then go under 1 year clinical practicals to become a naturopathic doctor.
That's interesting. But so what really inspired you for you to get into that aspect?
My love for natural things.
Okay.
Yeah. I really like to work with things regarding nature. So having a health promotion background, when I was thinking of what to do further, I thought of combining my health promotion background with natural medicine to assist people with their health.
Interesting. So talking about your love for natural things, what help us understand what naturopathy is all about, what it entails.
So in naturopathy as a healthcare system, we are looking at combining science-based knowledge with traditional and other natural medicine therapies in helping people heal.
So you're combining the traditional aspects with the scientific one.
Yes, with
so
the
it means
scientific
naturopathy is scientifically proven.
It's scientifically proven in many ways. Yes, because a naturopath would usually look for therapies, modalities, and treatments that are science-backed, evidence-based, science-backed therapies or ingredients to use to assist a person.
So how did naturopathy even come about in the first place? Because initially what we used to know was, you're sick, you get to the hospital, and then you get your treatment and all of that. But now this alternative, health care is up in our healthcare system. So how did it come about in the first place?
Well, naturopathy has been around for as long as man has been around. Yeah, because you would think way back into when we began, and you would be thinking, what were you using? Were you going to the hospital? You were definitely using natural things to help yourself when you are not feeling very well. So it's been around from ancient times until Hippocrates until now. What happened is that within the history of medicine, somewhere along the way in the 50s, there became the necessity to have your treatments backed by scientific evidence. And along that time, a split came between naturopathics and the medical field, because it's like we are all working together, and then suddenly we want everything to be evidence-based, we want everything to be organ-specific, and then naturopaths are like, no, we still want to go along with the way things were being done. We are basing our treatment on what has worked for our people over time.
So, but don't you think it's because something was not working out, so that is why the medical field set in?
Not really that something wasn't working out, but then what happened was that we found out that bacterials and things were causing diseases, and we managed to find that penicillin, for instance, will bring a resolve of most of the problems that were happening. That finding led to a quick manufacturing development of medications. Yes, so that medications could now be manufactured and used over time, and you didn't need to immediately tear herbs and now prepare something for someone. So that also meant that there could be vast production at a time. So some people wanted to go along with that way of doing things, and then the naturopaths weren't really, so it's like they were left behind. And then over time, the current conventional medicine took over the whole healing treatment methods, and then it's like naturopathy never existed. But even the origins of modern medicine is coming out from naturopathy. Wow. Because we share the same father of medicine, Hippocrates.
Interesting. So it looks like what you are saying, then it means that it is the split, or what contributed to the split of the medical field and then the naturopathic field. It's not because the naturopathy medicines were not working, but it's because you needed a fast way to go about health conditions. So would you then say that naturopathic medicine can cure all health conditions as compared to the medical aspect?
Well, it depends on how you want to define cure.
Okay.
A doctor doesn't promise cure to patients because cure has a whole complexities inside, including the patients themselves and their compliance to whatever treatments that they are undergoing. Okay, but you can say that naturopathy definitely helps in reversing and reducing the symptoms of many chronic diseases. It does help.
Interesting.
But for the cure, where you mean that the disease will never come back, that is dependent on the patient adhering to whatever.
So should I change the word cure and use treatment or manage?
Yeah, treatment.
So naturopathic medicine can manage all health conditions, just like the medical field will.
Yes, most health conditions, but there are some health conditions that it would be wise to take to the conventional medicine. Yes.
You are surrendering already.
No, we are not surrendering, but we are acknowledging that each system has some strengths and some weaknesses. Yes. So when you have a critical emergency issue, you don't want to take it to the naturopath. You want to take it to the conventional medicine side for them to take a look at it and quickly arrest it. And then, since healing often isn't instant, once the situation is stabilized, then you can now come the naturopathic way to gradually help your body to reverse the situation.
I get that. I get the point of establishment. So let's categorize the two. What health conditions would you need the intervention of the medicine, and then which ones would you say that naturopathic medicine can completely manage?
Okay, so let's say that you suddenly had a heart attack.
Right.
And you run to a naturopathic clinic. Plant medicines and dietary interventions and all that, they are really helpful long term, but instantaneously they cannot help you. But in the conventional sector, medications are developed and concentrated to the level where they can quickly arrest certain situations, such as in a heart attack. So then you don't want to bring that there. Let's say.
So would this patient suffering from heart attack then die under your care?
Most likely, yes.
Wow.
If I don't advise that you need to take this today. So there are certain things you see they are emergency. Yes. The conventional sector deals with it really well.
What exactly is the difference here? Is it because of some apparatus or some tools they are using on this? That's the conventional aspect we use on this heart attack patient that you, as a naturopath, wouldn't have. What exactly is the difference?
So we will talk about the technologies, the tools they use. We will talk about the concentrations of their medications and drugs. Yes.
That you don't have under your care.
Yes, because what we have is, in terms of diet, in terms of botanical medicine, as in the herbs and things, and within the herbs where we have the medicines which is often extracted and even used in the conventional medicine, they are there in quantities that are not so much to let me say cause a lot of problems to the body. But when they are being turned into drugs, those constituents in the medicine are being extracted and concentrated. They are being packed into quantities that a small shot given to you will suddenly cause the desired effect. Whereas the plant medicine will cause the desired effects gradually. That way it works gently with the body to effect change. But sometimes you do need the instant stimulation for the body to also balance. So that's where you will need it, because then we do not have that technology.
Okay. From what you have explained, and it looks like under the naturopathic healthcare, then you have some principles and some ethics that you need to adhere to. Yeah. Can you run us through some of them?
Yeah.
I need to wrap up in 5 minutes.
Sorry about being late. So naturopathy is underpinned by 2 philosophies, and 6 principles. So the 2 philosophies are holism and vitalism. When we're talking about holism, we are talking about not isolating our different body parts and saying that I have a disease in the liver, I have it in the kidney, and the concentration is just focused on healing that and leaving the rest of the body. So when you are treating any ailment, you want to target the whole human being so that the effect takes much longer. We're talking about vitalism, which means that inside our own bodies, God has placed some intelligences there that naturally performs healing. So we want to work with this healing intelligence within our own bodies by allowing the body to do its own healing, by giving it things that naturally will support that healing.
Naturally, like what?
Okay, so things like light, they are very simple.
Wow.
Light, air, food, rest.
Light, air, food, we have all of that, yet we fall sick.
You don't usually expose yourself to them as such in our current modern world. How many to them? Yes, even though the air is flowing in here, it's stagnant air. So you want to get fresh air, you want to breathe it in so that the body is getting the full concentration of oxygen it needs to do its healing work and all that. Water, we are drinking water all the time, but then what kind of water are we drinking, how are we drinking it and all that. So those are the things we would help with for you to enable you control your own health. And so we have these 6 principles where of course some of it is in the conventional sector as well, as in do no harm. As a doctor, your first concentration should be that whatever the treatments you are going to give a patient is not going to harm the patient. You are also looking at working with the inner intelligence, like I said, by stimulating it to do the healing. You are looking at the root cause of the disease and not just the symptoms of the disease. You are looking at treating the whole body, as I said before. And as a naturopathic doctor, your aim is to prevent diseases and not necessarily wait for it to happen before you are curing it. When it does happen like that, we do work on it. But as you come to us, we educate you on what has brought about your ailment and what you can do to prevent it occurring again. So we say we are teachers as doctors.
Interesting. I'm tempted to believe that naturopathic medicine then or healing will start from the mindset then.
Definitely. There is no healing that can take place if you don't believe in the system in which you are being treated.
Interesting. We should definitely have a part 2 of this, because we really did not delve into what we were supposed to. But thank you so much for making time and joining us. And we're wrapping up today's segment, Stay Alive. My name is Stephanie Ejojina Manyana, and we're wrapping up the entire show. So see you same time, God willing, tomorrow.